If you put that same piece of meat into the black soldier fly bin, I mean, that's what we use, the bin, they'll finish it up within hours. So which means even those meat have no chance to rot, which means before even all those bad bacteria able to make it rot and stink up, it's already gone.
Ooh.
Okay. Back for another shoot, back for another episode of the Chris Hansen Conversation. And today, I never thought I'd ever see the day. Now, I'm going to get flamed for this. I'm not much of a tree hugger. Did I offend anyone because I used the term tree hugger? Not intentional, not intending to offend anyone, but just for the sake of brevity, tree hugging. I'm not much of one of those, okay? But it doesn't mean that I oppose it. I believe, yes, in climate change. I believe it's true. I'm not going to do a Donald Trump. For certain, we are having issues with our climate, and we are having issues with sustainability. And I'm one of those guilty enough to enjoy the comforts of life and lazy enough not to do something. And I hope this man can convince me otherwise. I am convinced, again, that we need to have these to ensure that we have a future for our children and that we love our environment and our planet. But I'm just like any one of you, so don't lie. You're not doing it either. Most of you, anyway. So on my show today, I have this gentleman who's a very, very interesting guy. And he is a tree hugger. Are you a tree hugger? No?
Yes, no, okay, we shall have a conversation.
Okay, there we go. And he is Khor Tuck Kuan. And he is from a company called Otolith, right? And this guy, how did I meet him? Because he's got this little station somewhere around my neighborhood. And they've got this little nifty looking drawers, so to speak, where they encourage people to leave their food waste behind. And he has a relationship with a very strange creature. And that creature is called the black soldier fly. So he's involved in several projects relating to sustainability and environmental conservation, including the breeding of black soldier fly larvae, which is the weirdest thing I've ever come across. Someone having a relationship with a fly. How did that happen?
Okay, before I get into that, so I just want to, tell you how I feel when I first saw you. Okay, so, when Chris walked past the black soldier fly facility, so he's just, whoa, this Hell Rider looking guy.
Me?
Moving, coming towards me. I was like, holy shit. It's like, then as a nice guy in the community, I was like, okay, let me just smile and say hi. That little nod thing when you see someone. I was like, and suddenly this Hell Rider suddenly become like, he smile and then it looks like a teddy bear, so huggable.
Wow.
So this is my first impression. I was like, okay. Then we just, of course, there's many hi,
Yeah,
like,
after that,
hi bye, until we actually, sat together at the, coffee shop.
Yeah.
And then, then we had that.
Then I started to find out more about what you do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's...
Well, I'm glad we said hello to each other, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation together today, because I think people ought to know about all of these. Okay, so coming back to my first question, man.
Okay,
how did you start to foster and forge? Dare I say forge is a stronger word, yeah? A relationship with the black soldier fly.
Okay, so it all started, of course, we'll come back to the issue of tree huggers and so on. Okay, so me and my son, he's in NUS,
right?
So he studied now studying environmental science,
right?
So about 3 years ago, that's actually how we as in me and Isaac, my son, started this encounter with the black soldier fly. So we kind of like, because he's doing some kind of research and stuff, we thought, hey, why not we just try out this amazing insect where it's so beneficial. Scientists actually rank them, after the bee as the most beneficial insect.
No way.
Yes. Without bee, as you know, without the bee, we can't really produce food.
That one I know.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people still don't know that
Yeah.
that the bee population in the world is so integral to our survival.
That's right.
But the black soldier fly, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Aren't flies supposed to be one of the nastiest things, in my opinion, next to a rat and a cockroach, right?
Hey.
I mean, they get around waste, excrement, food, God forbid, and they leave wherever they touch on these things, right? And how could it be that a fly, specifically the black soldier fly, it's still a freaking fly, right?
No, not all flies are.
Okay. So not all flies are created equal.
That's right. Okay, first of all, housefly. Okay. What you're describing is actually the housefly.
Okay.
Where obviously, in order for them to, lay eggs, they need to eat, right? So they will go to the dustbin, they will go to the poop, and then they'll mess themselves up, and then they will land on your food. I mean, everybody will know that. Then you get lao sai, and then you go and you do your lao sai thing. But
okay, lao sai. For those of you who are not from this part of the world, not from Singapore, Malaysia, or anywhere in Southeast Asia, lao sai is a Hokkien term. Hokkien is a Chinese dialect, and it means diarrhea.
Yes,
food poisoning, real bad one, up to the point of cholera. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, but for black soldier fly, I always tell the kids, children who visit, our facility, saying, see, for black soldier fly, one of their superpower when they become the fly is they no longer eat when they are, the form of the fly, when they become this adult form.
Wait.
No more eating.
They don't eat.
They don't eat when they
become an adult.
Fly. So that is why you won't see them flying to your house. They are not looking for food.
Then how do they survive? I mean...
Yeah, okay, this is where they survive based on whatever resources they already, kept in their body. So they will just fly and look for their mate. They will mate, lay eggs, and they die.
So basically, they don't need to eat anymore.
They
just need to go and bang some...
Correct.
The opposite.
That's right. That's
the opposite sex.
Only goal, yeah.
And then after that, just make sure they propagate.
That's correct.
Right. But they don't eat.
That's correct.
So they eat only when they are in the larva state.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. So first of all, black soldier fly.
Right.
The good guy. Beneficial insect. So I hope you're convinced that's the first step.
I don't know, man. I mean,
not yet.
Maybe they should just change the term fly.
Yeah, but okay. Hermetia illusion, is that their scientific name?
Wait. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here. Have you watched a movie long time ago where with Jeff Goldblum, when he acted in that movie together with Gina Davis, called The Fly?
Yeah, I
Remember that movie? Remember the movie?
Is that the one that they step into this machine?
Yeah, the transporter machine transported over. Then there was a fly inside the transporter.
Yes.
How I mean, the theory was that they break down everything and then they rebuild you on the other side, in the other pod, the transporter pod.
Yep.
And the fly happened to be in the first pod.
Yep.
And everything, the genes and the DNA of that fly got into this guy when he was rebuilt again in the next pod, right?
Yep.
And then how he transformed into the fly.
Yep.
Was that a freaking house fly?
Okay, yes, but I think we should have a remake with black soldier fly in it, and then let's see the outcome.
No, then after that, if it's a black soldier fly thing, if they remake that movie and produce it with a black soldier fly, it will be a porno.
Ooh.
Come on, because a guy eats when he's a kid, and then after that he just looks for someone to bang. It'll be a porn, man. Come on. Okay, so
yes.
I mean that was just I digress and I sidetracked. Sorry. Okay, so the larva. Talk to me about the larva.
Okay, so the other superpower which make this black soldier fly.
Yeah.
the beneficial insect is they can eat up to 4 times their body weight every day.
No shit.
Every day. So, to make this, meaningful, this comparison, if you compare with earthworm, if you compose using the earthworm, which, the composting where everybody knows, it takes weeks or months to break down the food waste, depends what you put inside. So, see, that is why, for those who really, do this composting using earthworm, they know that there's many food that you shouldn't put inside.
Like what?
Like, for example, meat is one of those.
So earthworms cannot break down meat?
They can, but if you do that, the whole neighborhood is going to come after you because it's going to rot, it's going to stink up.
Oh, because they take a longer time?
Exactly.
To break it down.
To break it down.
Right.
But for black soldier fly, because
I
of
feel
this,
like a primary school kid.
Yeah, that's right. I'm speaking to you as if
I'm a primary school kid. Thank you so much.
Hey,
yes.
yeah, that's
I
where
don't
you are
mind
now.
that. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so imagine this. If you put that same piece of meat into the black soldier fly bin, I mean, that's what we use, the bin, they'll finish it up within hours. So which means even those meat have no chance to rot. Which means before even all those bad bacteria able to make it rot and stink up, it's already gone. Finished, done.
So
and
no one gets hurt. There's not going to be any hygiene issues.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And really, so this bin that you just mentioned just now, it's for example, in that center that's in our neighborhood, right?
Yes.
Your center, right?
That's right.
So you have a bin there. So your whole area there buzzing around with these flies?
Okay, no. So first of all, when you step into the facility,
I'm not going to visit you. I'm never going to step foot in there, man.
No, I'm going to trick you in and I'm just going to lock you inside. Yeah, then you will be a changed person 3 days later.
I'll come out scratching all over the place.
Okay, so when you step in, what you see is like racks and racks of bin.
Right.
Okay, so it's kind of like, we call it like the HDB of black soldier fly, where you have layers and layers of different bins, where that's where all the millions of larvae, they are inside there, and when we feed them, it's bin by bin. So therefore, we will have kind of like a timetable, and like
in feeding times.
Kind of like feeding. Yeah,
he's like
schedule.
A zookeeper, man.
Exactly.
Like being a zookeeper, man.
Yes.
So this feeding time. So how do you do this? Let me. I know because I've walked past all the time past your center.
That's right.
And I see the shoots that goes into. I call them drawers just now. My apologies. They're shoots. These shoots, right, where people donate the food waste.
That's correct. Yeah.
And it goes into these bins. How on earth do you feed the flies? I mean, you don't have them in a jar, right? I mean, how do you do it? What's the process like?
Okay, so first of all, it's pretty low tech. From at the inside, it's pretty low tech because, okay, first of all, I'm from Autoliv. I'm the program director, and so Autoliv, we are social enterprise. Yeah. All right. So this is part one of our project, and what I'm trying to highlight here as well is we need a lot of volunteer inside to do the work. Okay, and just now I highlighted that it's pretty low tech for a good reason as well.
Okay.
Why?
So volunteers could easily do the job.
That's correct. Because we used to have like certain kind of machine, sorter and stuff. When volunteer come, they may have like 2 hours, and then by the time you teach them all this stuff, bye-bye, gone.
Right.
So it's pretty low-tech inside. So, okay, maybe we start from the beginning, which is your question. Yeah. So when a person signed up, okay, so they sign up, they will get...
sign up to be a tree hugger.
Yeah, sign up to not
I'm going to get this guy really angry. And a lot of people watching the show too.
Hey, okay. We'll get to that. So, okay. Now, so when the residents sign up for, this food waste, upcycling project, they will get a QR code on their mobile phone. Okay, so, for those who are interested, it's called Eco to Balance app. It's at the App Store or the Play Store. Eco, and then number 2, and then balance. Okay, so the community will sign up, and then they will get a QR code in their apps. Right. And when they scan the QR code at the machine, there's a scanner, so they will get to collect a box which is that the food Tupperware thingy, which you saw people loading in. So you get an empty box,
right?
And then you
so
bring
that's
home,
your app, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So you bring home, and then hey, you love to cook, right? So all your kitchen scrap, or the carrot skin,
leave it in that bin.
Correct. And then you keep it in the fridge.
Right.
Okay. Why?
Yikes.
Okay. Why? Of course. See, all these food waste, they are clean, right? I mean, it's from your own home.
I'm sorry, man, but maybe it's a psychological thing. It's like your leftover foods,
Okay, then the solution is you'll be more hardworking since you pass by every day. You don't have to keep it in the fridge. I will highlight the fridge thing later. So, every day after cooking,
right.
As you go for your evening walk,
right.
you will just go to the machine, you scan your QR code, and then you load in
right.
that thing. And every time you scan,
yeah.
you will earn green currency, the point system that you will earn. And with the green currency, you can redeem for vegetable or fish, which we harvest from the vertical farm, on the next block.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one. Yeah, okay.
And also the fish from the fish farm, the pond.
Wait,
tilapia fish. Yeah.
The pond in the neighborhood.
That's correct.
Is you're actually rearing fish to sell?
Not to sell, it's to redeem. Of course, you can buy as well, but it's
to redeem.
With the point that you earn from the,
But people can also buy the fish.
Yes,
this
if
is
they want to.
as fresh as it can be because
That's
it's
correct.
out of the pond.
Yes,
I didn't
right.
realize that's been worked by you guys.
That's correct. Okay,
Right.
but one thing to highlight is, see, our goal is not to ask the resident, come on, everybody, give us as much food waste as possible. No, that's not the goal. The goal is to educate everyone as much as we can, as we communicate. As you can see, we always interact with all the people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Is to ask them to reduce food waste. Of course, there's many ways to reduce food waste, as most of us would know, but just need a bit of reminder. So that is why we will not reward residents by the weight, the amount of food waste they give us, because
Right.
that's not the goal.
Right.
The goal is to be mindful about food waste,
Yep.
and for those food waste that you have, do something
But
with it.
how would you mentioned goal? The goal is for people to be educated in this and to
That's
be
right.
mindful, so that it's top of mind and not going to be back of mind, right? That, or even right in front of your face. That's the ideal goal, isn't it? But how would you measure, as a company, with this goal in mind, how would you measure that it really truly is working towards your objective? It has got to be by the amount, quantifying it, right? By the amount of food waste that you actually collect. So have you guys been collecting a substantial amount that show that you're on track? Are we on track? Are you on track?
Okay, so to answer that question, then we have to go back, one or two more steps. This is the first in Singapore, right? So when we do this, meaning we need to, exactly like what you say,
Right.
collecting data.
Yeah.
So to learn what have we done right, what have we done wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like also, this is Singapore's first decentralized food waste, collection point.
Decentralized as in not run and managed by the government, you mean?
Decentralized as in, it's not like we have a gigantic, factory somewhere in
That's what
Tuas
you meant. Okay.
where we have like 5,000 meters of facility where we put our container, the space, the black soldier fly right smack in the community.
Right.
So that means our scale is meant to be small. The
Right.
goal in the future is to have it all over Singapore. So this first one, which to answer your question, is yes, is to learn from it, to collect data, and to eventually find out the best way to run this, and we are going to set up a second one in Sembawang. So that's the second one, and we are still, just to be open and frank, we are obviously still learning, how to do this, and also the core of what we do is actually right here. Hey. Okay. Nurture through nature. So to educate, and to basically convince the public, especially the younger generation. Okay, so this facility is actually used for us to learn about how to do it right, and plus to give an area, a platform, and the facility to educate the public, which means we do a lot of learning journey for the school.
Right.
So the kids will go through all this. And
Right.
why this is important, as you all know, I think we are like at least, one or two generation behind, in terms of, like sorting food waste, behind in terms of, if you compare to, say, Japan or Taiwan, because we are like, okay, happily everything packed together, throw into this chute, right?
Yeah.
So we are not there yet, and therefore we believe, if you say is everything in place, no, I'm not gonna lie that saying, oh, everything is perfect, we're doing so well, like, we have like 1 million people come to our place. No, it's not true.
How long has it been around?
It's almost 3 years. So this is like during COVID
Right.
till now. Yeah.
So, wow, during COVID, huh?
Yeah.
So, from the time you started 3 years ago to today, have you seen a satisfying amount of increase in people donating their food waste?
Okay, what we see is this: the data show that this group of people, it's like those very niche kind of hobby and stuff. Those who are very passionate means is they are super passionate,
Right.
and those who don't care, no matter what you say, they are not gonna do it.
Right.
So, which means it's really, really important for this initial group to actually participate, and then they are the die-hard fan. So we learn from both. Of course, okay, just jump to, like a few years later, those who will, have no passion or reason to participate, eventually they will come on board when the government say, okay guys, just like, keeping your own plate in the hawker center, okay, from tomorrow onwards, you have to separate your food waste.
Otherwise, we will find you.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But, okay, in between this time, we need to learn from this group, behavior, the normal, how much food waste each household produce and so on. And to the point where, when the whole thing become a law, okay, so we are learning all these things. And to answer your question directly, is this satisfactory? I think it's okay from learning, and getting data point of view, but it's not like, whoa, we have like, hundreds of thousands of people participating. No, I don't have the numbers with me, sadly, today, but it's enough to keep our interns and our staff and
So
myself
it's been promising.
busy, very busy feeding the black soldier fly. That's what we can say. Yeah.
I pardon my ignorance. Okay, I'm not that smart. I'm quite stupid actually. So I'm just gonna ask. So you have this need. Well, it's a need, isn't it, to have a black soldier fly, break down compost. Correct. Okay. What happens if that didn't exist? What would happen to the environment? Say people don't donate their food waste at all. Say you guys don't exist. Say the black soldier fly, no one found out about it. How bad would it be for the environment and society at large?
Okay. So two things. Let me remember how to to answer these two things. One is where would the food waste go to?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
we put it in the plastic bag,
Yeah.
we'll tie it up, we throw it down our rubbish chutes, right?
Yes.
Okay, then what happens?
Yes. So how we treat the trash, which most of you know, and then another one is food security. This is two things. Okay, just remind me if I missed out the other one. Okay, what happened when we pack our food waste in and throw into the bin is this. So as most of you would know, all our trash go to the incinerator.
Yep.
Incinerate it, and in the meantime, whatever energy that we can get, we generate electricity with it, which is what the best we can do in this country.
Right.
Different country may have different resources, they have
Right.
land and so on,
Right.
So this is what we do. So now, the highlight is electricity, right? That we can get out of it. The fact that we mix in the wet stuff with the dry stuff is a problem, right? Because you need more energy to burn the wet stuff.
Right,
Okay,
right,
if you
right,
don't
right.
do anything with the food waste at all,
Right.
you just separate it,
Right.
and whatever you want to do with it, and just throw away the dry stuff, these already do something very good for the country.
Yes,
in terms of the plus that we get out of it, which is
Well,
electricity.
basically, it's been recycled to energy and vis-a-vis electricity.
Okay, that's one reason just to separate it and not to do anything with it. Okay, I hope that is convincing enough.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
one.
okay.
Okay. So second thing
Food
is
security.
Yeah, food security. Okay, now we talk about nutrient. So again, you're a little kid, right? So
I'm a little
if
kid.
you eat an apple, can you eat the apple core?
No.
The answer is yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Take me to Toys R Us, please, when I get the right answer. Okay.
You can, just don't eat the seed. It's not nice,
It isn't nice.
but you can eat it.
Do you do it?
Okay, good point. You can blend it and make the juice. Yeah. Okay. Hey, you're trying to trick me to it. Yeah. I do use straw though. We'll come to that. 300. Okay. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I'm guilty. Okay. Now, nutrient, right? Apple core is still full of nutrient. That is why we say it is edible. If you eat it, it's nutritious. It's not nice. That's all. Correct.
Oh, yeah.
So so all these nutrient-rich food, which is food waste, we are throwing it away.
Yeah, waste. Yeah.
We are throwing away nutrients. So food security means that because we import, most of our food, right? If as a country, if as individual citizen, we do our part to keep the nutrient, which is now we are talking about food waste,
Right.
within the circulation.
Right.
Everyone do our
Wait.
part.
What do you mean by circulation within?
Okay, which means this is where the whole, circular ecosystem for food production comes in.
See how stupid I am.
Hey, okay, circular ecosystem for
Thank
food
you, sir.
production. Yes.
Thank you,
I
sir.
should have my cartoon diagram for you. Come on.
You should have brought it along. We've simplified things for me, man.
Okay, so now nutrient, this food waste, they are full of nutrient. So what do we do with it? We merely just transfer the nutrient from one form to another by feeding it to the larvae. So when the larvae eat all this
Nutrients
nutrient-rich
from the food waste. Yeah.
So now they are stored up with all the nutrients. So they are, more than 40%, protein and good fat and so on. So now these larvae, the nutrients now here, right? And we feed it to the chicken and the fish and in
Feed
our
what
farm.
to feed
The
what?
larvae
You feed the larvae to the chicken
and the fish. That's
at
right.
your farms.
That's
So
correct.
basically, this is the black soldier fly larvae.
That's correct.
They also become food.
That's correct.
So
So
these other food sources like fish and chicken.
That's
Am I
correct.
getting this right?
that's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So now
But you will definitely keep some larvae because you still need the black soldier fly.
that's correct. So it's less than 10%. In fact, less than 5% will be used to basically mate and lay eggs for the next generation.
Right,
So
okay.
So now the nutrient is now in the larvae. We feed it to the chicken and the fish. See, food waste, the nutrient from food waste now goes to the larvae, goes to the chicken, and goes to us as a form of eggs or protein in terms of the chicken and
That's
the
our
fish.
food again.
Yes, and then it goes again and again and again and again. So this is the goal.
Who came up with this plan, man?
It's been around. It's a matter of execution, and it is hard.
But apparently,
Yeah.
you guys are the first people to execute this. Am I right to say that?
Yes, in Singapore, we are the first one that involve the community. Okay, so for black soldier fly, there's other businesses that uses pre-consumer food waste, which is like when the beer factory, the soya bean, the tofu
Before
factory.
it goes into processing.
Correct. So let's say for tofu factory, they will have a lot of the okara, which is the
Curd.
yeah, the leftover of
Tau hui.
tau hui. Yeah, when they squeeze the juice out of the hell out of it. So those are the leftover, and it's still very rich in nutrient, obviously, right? So those will be used to feed black soldier fly and so
Right.
on. There's other black soldier fly players doing that, but
Right.
for us, we are dealing with the one of the most challenging part, which is the human aspect, which is consumer food waste from families
Yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that's what the area where we are working on.
Right.
That's why education and connecting with the community is a big thing. Yeah. So instead of just the hardware, we always say The hardware. The hardware is important. So, our intern, ourselves, we always need to connect with the community.
How's volunteerism like? I mean, do you have a lot of people, a lot of interns, people really step forward to help? Do you have a lot of that?
Yes.
Is it moving along? Is it growing?
Yes, good. Okay, come on, guys. We need you. We always need more volunteer. Why? Because as you know, for volunteers, everybody you have different season.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, we have fantastic volunteer, really helping. Then suddenly she has a grandchild. Bye bye. Suddenly, you lose some, and then for students.
Of course, people have got their commitments, and new things come up, and they have to stop for a bit. Yeah.
So literally, we have thousands of volunteers, but everybody have different season.
Right.
We always need, like I say, please love, like our Facebook, because you may not be the volunteer, but your uncle may be a retiree who can be. So a community project like this, we really need, a different wave of volunteer constantly coming in.
So I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
Two things, ladies and gentlemen watching the show, and this particular episode, I am not being paid to promote them. Okay, number one. Number two, I genuinely invited this gentleman to come on my show because I think it's a good thing, and I think people ought to know, and I want to find out because I'm quite stupid at these kind of things. Secondly, I'm going to do this for otolith. For those of you who really considering to be a tree hugger, please step forward. Otolith requires help, and I think this is a good cause. I am not a tree hugger, but he's trying to convert me. Back to the story. I want to ask you, all this thing is marvelous, yeah? I mean, thanks for educating me so far. I know there's more you want to tell me, but before you go on, this whole thing it's fascinating. What's fascinating to me is that here you have a father and a son, whose son, Isaac, is majoring in environmental science. And then father and son started working on out of the blue, just Black Soldier Fly. I mean, something must have triggered it, right? I mean, what was that? What drove you to this direction?
Okay, now first of all, Otolith is founded by this guy called Jonathan Poe. So that's where the story will come together.
Okay.
So me and Isaac, we started this Black Soldier Fly thing. Can you imagine my wife? Dun at home. These two
What's the
crazy
for, man?
These two crazy fella, got hold of some Black Soldier Fly eggs, and then it's like from 10,000 to 20,000. Everything is like all over the living room.
Okay,
all over the living room.
Isaac started collecting these.
As in, like we purchase some eggs and then we start experimenting with it.
Why in the first place? Why
Okay.
in the first place even go
Then
there?
there's the backstory, meaning
That's what I want to know. I mean, not just
yeah.
anyone would just drop into this and then, let's go buy some Black Soldier Fly larvae. I mean, I don't see anyone really let's just go do that. There must be a reason, there must be a motivation, a drive behind it.
Wow. So I have to go back in the beginning. Now,
hey man, I got time. You've got time.
So first of all, I'm a kampong boy from Malaysia.
Okay.
So literally somewhere in Selangor, and then like 8 of us, my parents, they are rubber tappers. So I grew up in this kampong,
Your
and
parents were rubber tappers.
Yeah, super cool. Like
wow.
All the stuff, the wonderful stories. Okay, so I'm the youngest. Anyway, the kampong boy in me still there. I mean, I'm still that same kampong
You're
boy.
Singaporean now?
Yeah, Singaporean now
Okay.
for more than almost like 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So this kampong boy always do whatever the heck I want to do. Meaning, so I raised my son that way.
Yeah.
So if we want to do something, we just do it.
Okay.
So we love nature.
Yeah.
We do hiking, scuba diving when he's like 12 years old,
Okay.
and we just build whatever we want to build, do whatever we want to do. So that's how we were wired. We catch lizard, we catch fish, we do all this stuff, and that is why probably he's studying what he's studying
Right.
now. Yeah.
Right.
So that's just who we are.
Okay.
And then again, back to tree huggers. I do believe that if you love nature, you tend to not want to destroy it. That's basically the first step. It's not like I'm so crazy that there's someone that I met that, like when I gave him a name card, he said, I don't touch paper. It's like, oh, you don't touch paper? It's like,
No way.
yeah, there's certain amount of respect, right? But there's also like, you just insulted me kind of feeling when I try to give you a name card.
You actually encountered someone
Yes,
who did that?
Correct. So I am not that extremist, but like what you say, we do believe in climate change. We do try our best to do what we can to not to destroy it,
Not to make it worse.
That's right.
Yeah,
So do I have plastic bag at home? Yeah, of course, So do I use the plastic bag until basically use
that's a cardinal sin, man.
Hey, I use the hell out of it, Yeah, so like I have plastic bag where I use so many times.
This is where Khor is telling me, no, Chris, I am not a tree hugger. Is that what you're saying?
I would love to be a tree hugger, but as a real human being, right? I mean, it's just not possible, like you still need to put your trash into some form of bags to, put into the, So that's just who, again, we strive to be, but we can never do it perfect.
But you do know, right, that this episode is called That One with the Tree Hugger.
Oh, asterisk. So yeah, we do what we can, and everybody can do it.
So basically, he's saying that your son and yourself, including your wife, am I right?
Yeah.
Are wired in a way that let's go do this, let's go do that,
Yes.
and then it sounds fun. Let's go do it.
That's right.
And let's go find out how this works, how that works.
Yeah, if it's not fun, don't do it. Yeah.
Wow. That's quite something. So when you talk about trying to educate the communities that you are in.
That's where I get to how do I become partners with Jonathan in there.
Yeah, okay.
So then me and Isaac, so we rented a little greenhouse at City Sprout at Bukit Merah. It's a greenhouse which we rent, a couple of $100 a month, because our home, we really cannot keep all the tens of thousands of larvae anymore. So we have a greenhouse there. So when we have the greenhouse there, visitor will come and say, "Hey, what's this? Hey, what's that?" And then our population of all our babies grew, and visitor came, and then suddenly we become like some kind of some kind of zoo where you pay ticket to go in, where the founder of a City Sprout say, "Wow, you guys are amazing, so I'm going to include you guys as part of our program." Okay. When school children, when the public open house, then we become like, "Hey, here's black soldier fly, why you must do blah blah blah." Then we soon become like, so we enjoy ourselves and we make some money out of it. This and then COVID, even during COVID, when they start to open up, visitors start to come.
Yep.
We even have Zoom project, and so on. So we became like the educator to raise awareness about food waste and about black soldier fly. Then I made up, with Jonathan and said, "Whoa, okay, let's do this," because Jonathan is this brilliant guy. He's the guy with a brain. Okay, so
he's the guy that started the sustainability at Tampines Park.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
So he's the guy with a brain. I'm the guy with the. Hey.
You're the guy with the hardware. He's the guy with the software.
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that he doesn't have a heart. It doesn't mean that I'm an idiot. But it's a little bit of that. But you get what I mean. I'm all passion, and sometimes I make decisions.
Yeah. I mean, I can attest to that. Because I've seen you ever so often. I mean, I live in this neighborhood, and I've seen you ever so often. I've never seen people, yourself and your son Isaac, get so excited when a school bus comes in filled with primary school students, and then I go, "These guys are so excited about that."
Yeah.
I've never seen something like that, man. I mean, with me, no, again, But you two of you just go, yeah, they're here. Okay, let's go. Woo,
Yeah, exactly. that's exactly, how we look and how we feel. Because like one of those boys in the bus will become this mad scientist gonna take over,
And I'm gonna rule the world with black soldier flies.
Yes. So that's exactly what what it is, and and now COVID is kind of like done, and now exactly the busload
to where it's supposed to be.
Yes,
right?
busload of students start to come, and that's what we want to do, to really inspire the younger generation, to give them some possible space to be sustainable and make an impact for Singapore's future.
I'm going to stop you there because I want to make sure I've covered all my bases before we have to say goodbye. I just want to ask about this. As I mentioned earlier, this is about the communities you serve in, right? You educate people in these communities, and Sembawang's a new one. You have one here in Tampines. It's not just about the residents. It's also about the people, the retailers, the people at the shops, manly shops, and the hawkers and coffee shops, right? Now, I'm pretty sure that is. It's a challenging task to have hawkers and food stall holders to volunteer the food waste.
Yes, that's true. And when we spoke to them, they have their real concern, which is like, okay, yes, I can keep for you, but we are too busy to sort out things for you. So which means there's a lot of contamination inside. You won't know what they throw inside. So that is one big problem for us. If we mix those so-called contaminated food with things that can kill insect, for whatever, it could be bleach, it could be anything. It's all inside there. Then it's not usable.
What's the percentage? Do you have the data of people in the food business that you've approached to actually really step forward?
Very simple answer. It's just the corner coffee shop.
You mean our coffee shop? Yes. What are we patronize? Don't say I patronize. That's where we started talking to you, man.
Yeah. Okay. So it's only that. Then their concern is, that's one.
Yeah.
And then another thing is, if they keep it for us, they are so worried that you must clear it every day, or else
they get in trouble.
They'll get in trouble and so on. I said, I'm concerned, but many of them, they are not really the boss as well. So they will not be able to make that decision. So what if I say yes and then got into trouble? And so all this will take time until this is where the law, in one day that will happen where the government will say, okay, from now on, food waste.
But that doesn't make sense still. Why? Because, Khor, think about this. If I'm a food stall owner, a food business owner, and I say, okay, I'm going to pass you all my food waste. I passed it to you. You're supposed to do something with it. How could that well, basically all that wouldn't it be right? I don't know, maybe someone can tell us. Wouldn't it be right that since you transferred the food waste over, you've also transferred that liability over to you? Why would he be in trouble?
It's before that. Let's say we have a deal saying, why not you put your food waste here in this particular bin? So let's say they put it there, and for whatever reason that on our side, let's say I worry that if we can't collect it for whatever reason during that night or that day,
then they will be in trouble because they left litter behind.
That's correct. So for the law and the rules now, it's too risky.
Maybe litter is the wrong word. They left waste behind. It's unclear,
yes,
right?
That's right. So that's the reason.
Right. Right. So tell me more about sustainability at Tampines Park. What's that about?
Okay, so it's, as you can see just now, you mentioned the black soldier fly facility. There's a vertical farm, and then there's a fish pond. So there we are showing the resident and everybody in Singapore that it is possible to, as a small scale experiment, to show people that in each area we can self-sustain to do a circular ecosystem for food production, meaning using small spaces, for the vertical farm, right? Of course, most people know about the rooftop hydroponic farm.
Okay.
So for vertical farm is right, the vertical farm is being built
I know,
the wall
on the wall,
itself.
the side of the HDB block.
Yes.
I've seen it, and I'm honestly, I love it.
Okay, that is by Neta Tech. Okay, that's another of our partners. So they manage that particular farm.
Right.
But we work together in the sense where every time they harvest, they will actually donate all the vegetable. This is where the resident can redeem the vegetable from. Okay, so of course they will rotate different kind of vegetable every month. So Neta Tech is doing that part of the work. And for the fish pond, the Apollo, this company called Apollo set it up. Meaning the filtration system, everything.
Right.
So, but they didn't. They decided not to manage it. So we are the one who manage the fish pond.
Right.
So all these partners come together, form this circular ecosystem, including the resident.
And created a kind of a loyalty program system.
Yes, which is based on this model. So we can, do it in a sense where. For example, for Sembawang, it's slightly different concept. For Sembawang, we plan to have mushroom farm, meaning we have containers.
The legal ones, you mean?
Hey, we can okay.
Don't go there, man. Don't go there. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay, so the mushroom farm. Same concept. So we're gonna have mushroom farm there where we're gonna train the special need to do part of special needs student to do part of the cultivating and harvesting the mushroom.
Wow,
and then from
awesome.
there, the resident in Sembawang, who contributed food waste with a point system, they can redeem for mushroom instead. So different community, we are trying out different
things.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
cool, man. As we learn from all this, data and experience and collection, so this is where we are able to see what's the best way to have it mushroom all over Singapore, to have the black soldier fly facility. But ultimately, we, when the government one day say, okay, you must separate food waste, I think, we're going to have, not we, as in the big companies, like Super 800 or Sembcorp, if they decided to have the black soldier fly farm, or even, rope us in, then you're going to need a gigantic, facility to manage all those.
Plant, basically.
So this is basically the in-between, the bridge. What do you do with your food waste? When will that day come? So by having the decentralized food waste management system using black soldier fly, this is where we cover the in-between years before that becomes reality.
But how Singaporeans, people you've encountered so far, how the reception been? Because I tell you, living in this neighborhood, I've heard a few things. I've heard complaints about the light at the vertical farm being too bright and they can't sleep at night and all. But to me, what's new? Every darn thing they complain about. People complain about so many things, whether it's good, whether it's bad. But how have you discovered, in your experience, with people in the neighborhood, whether or not, how receptive they've been and how welcoming have they been about over all these efforts?
It's amazing. Okay, first of all, you can imagine this, right? Imagine you stay literally, the nearest block is literally less than 30 meters away.
Yeah.
Say, for example, you stay there and you heard this news that, whoa, what? You mean they're going to have millions of
flies,
maggots or flies, There, obviously, you'll be worried. But think about this. The more people give us the food waste means there's less food waste in the chute.
Yeah,
the less food waste in the chute
that
means
makes sense. Yeah, it means less
smell, cockroaches, less smell, less rats,
less unhygienic things moving around.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they soon realize that it's like, wow. And then for our facility, there's really very, very little smell, as I mentioned just now. The black soldier fly will finish the food waste before even it can rot, right? So that's gone. And even the rubbish collection point, what do you call that thing?
Rubbish collection point.
Yeah. That thing become less smell. Even the coffee shop really love us because the more people, not that we are there yet, it's it really quite a commitment to come down every day with the food waste, right? The more people give us the food waste means less of those food waste rotting in
the garbage disposal area.
Yeah. It's really, really encouraging. We have, all the aunties, uncle, how they treat us, like the intern, they'll bring food, and then they know that we don't mind the ugly food and the so-called the past best before food and so on. The aunties will bring all the bread and say, hey, you want cakes or not, breads or not, There's a group that is with food rescue groups, Those aunties always feed us with nice food as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's like I say, why do we receive this kind of very friendly
Reception.
reception? Is because those who are passionate, they are really, really passionate. We feel like a family together, you know. And those who are not participating yet is, you know, come on, let's be frank. Like, we are all in different season in our life. You know, some of us are really just way too busy. We want to do it, but for me to walk all the way to the park every day or every other day is really not in, you know.
Yeah, because you come back home, you've had a hard day at work, and then you come back home. You just don't want to. You don't have the bandwidth.
You have 3 kids, and then you got to do your homework. And
no
stuff.
more bandwidth.
Yes,
I understand. So, what's this thing I've been hearing about? Waste Wonderland.
Oh, okay. So Waste Wonderland.
This doesn't sound palatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Waste Wonderland is that little greenhouse that me and Isaac, you know, have, and then we name.
Oh, you mean Bukit Merah?
Yeah.
The one in Bukit Merah, the greenhouse.
That's right. We call it, you know, because instead of wasteland, we call it
Waste
Wonderland, because we have a lot of fun inside.
You guys are crazy, man. I mean, it's a good kind of crazy. Don't get me
we
wrong.
Have quail, we have frogs, we have you know, swing, we have, you know, all sorts of things inside there. You know, like when kids come in, basically everybody come in and say ew, but we say, you know, you love it, you know, because they
you love it.
Yes, that's right. Because when they come in, they are really afraid, but they walk out. Mom, can we keep it? So to us, that is the goal. Each time the busload of people come in, that's our goal.
And when you guys were doing all that, man, you know, Waste Wonderland together with Isaac, I think it's a great father and son thing to do.
Oh man,
and, And then today you both are running the business as well, right?
Okay. He's studying, so he would, you know, just come and help out part time, and then he's like doing all the tour stuff, and
In terms of doing all this kind of work, you know, as a tree hugger,
hey.
doing all that. Does it keep you and your family afloat?
It's very challenging. So I always tell people, if you want to make money, it's the wrong place to be. Yay.
You mean you can make money, but if you want to be rich,
that's right.
The rich in your imagination, in your head, then you're saying this is not the place to be. But that's not my question. Is it enough for you and your family to live and be happy?
Yes.
So it does.
Now, what is enough? I just maybe take a minute to introduce this guy.
Yeah.
This guy that I met, I mean, for the last, I think 2 or 3 years ago, his name is Han Chong. Amazing guy. He's that guy, before COVID, right? He is willing to just go to the hawker center and just eat the leftover food that he deemed decent. Okay, this is a Singaporean. Okay, that's that level. Okay, but then I met him somewhere, and I get to know him, and he's a very smart and respectable guy, which I respect a lot. I met up a few times with him. I learned a lot of stuff from him. It's like, and he lived very simply and really happy, and he have, you know, control over how he spend the time, what he does. And then me and Isaac met him. I was like, okay, Isaac, look, you see, there's never enough. You know, of course, we don't have to be, you know, Han Chang. I mean, we may not be able to do what he's doing,
but you don't have to be a crazy rich Asian either.
Exactly. So it's like, wow, you know, like if that is, you know, I'm telling Isaac that I'm happy with you if you are Han Chong. You know, I'm happy with you if you are, I don't know, Bill Gates as well. So it's not really the money that make. Why am I both of us respect this guy, you know, for his knowledge. When he will do conference, he will do talk, but you know, everything.
His definition of success is different.
Exactly. So for us, but we've been living like that. Just that we didn't just, when we met Han Chong, that's the next level, you know, thing. Yeah. So therefore, to answer your question, all the while I function based on if it's not fun, don't do it. And yeah, of course, we are not poor. We are very comfortable.
Yeah.
Too comfortable. Very, very comfortable in comparison.
I suppose.
And we love it. And then the time I spend with Isaac, I can talk whole day about our relationship, how each stage of our life. I mean, to me, that is so good. The COVID time, the time I spent with Isaac, building the whole, we literally saw and nailed every shelf, everything, every swing in the facility. The time I spent with my son even at that stage of his life, priceless.
Yeah.
It's like I can die that day and say, I'm so
happy enough and
contented.
contented. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Contentment, man. Yes, that was a hot topic in my last episode, one of my episodes. A couple of days ago. Okay. You mentioned in an interview you had with the National Archives the importance of working together with a heart. Oh yeah, I do my homework.
Oh yeah, I was like, okay.
Man, you're on my show. You were interviewed by the National Archives. How do you envision Singaporeans coming together to address issues related to sustainability and environmental conservation? And what role each of us can play in making an impact positively?
Well, I think, as you know me by now, I'm a very simple kampong boy. So I'm not trying to address this big thing. I think I would leave that to Jonathan. Okay. So for me, it's really, I already gave you the answer from the beginning, which is really when I do anything, it's really one kid at a time, one auntie at a time. I literally, each person walk through the facility.
It's all the hard work, like you put in the hard work and the groundwork and the footwork.
That's right.
And you put in all that.
And so also training, the intern. Hopefully we impact every single intern,
right?
Every single volunteer, because I'm the so-called on the ground
but
guy.
There's a steep gradient, don't you think so? I mean, it's an uphill task, and that hill has a very steep gradient.
Yes, it's hard. That's why it's hard work. Yeah. So, but then somebody got to do it. I always say somebody got to do it, and because I enjoy it so much,
right?
Like I go back and super tired and say, okay. This is what I've done today. I'm happy, and So is there any other way to do it? I don't know, but at least for me, it's really, one kid at a time.
Well, I got a lot of takeaways from you today, man. Thank you. But let me tell you one takeaway that I want to say to end the show. Yeah. The takeaway I've got is that here you have someone who works so happily every single day because he just loves everything he does, and it's a real joy to see this. I mean, he's so uplifting, and you are so thrilled. It's contagious, and you're so animated over the things you do. And I think that's marvelous. It's something that I really, really enjoy because, like I said, doing something you love is something that should be advocated everywhere. Do what you love.
Yeah.
But sometimes this talk about meritocracy comes into play. Yeah, but thank you so much for that, and thank you for the learning lesson. You got one kid here that now understands exactly what's going on, because really I was clueless, really quite clueless about this whole thing. So I've been talking and chatting with Khor and Khor's from Otterlith, and they're still looking for volunteers. So please, if you really want to step forward, do something for the community, this could be one step forward. And thank you for watching. We'll catch you again in the next episode of the Chris Hansen Conversation. Thank you for being on CHC. Behave. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.